This is a great honor for every fan of the Dallas Cowboys. I'm honored to be in the NFL.
What can I say? Mamba out.
All right, what's happening, everybody? Welcome to the afternoon show presented by ESCN. I'm Chris Gonzalez, joined by Tony Gonzalez and Jay McLovin. How's it going, guys?
Yeah. I got to tell you, it's not going good today, Bubba. Not because of sports. I mean, sports is sports, but I just saw this, Tony. I don't know if y'all are tracking this, man, but there's been I don't like to go political, but there's another active shooting situation. Now it's at a Dallas ICE facility. I don't know what ICE. I don't know if that's ICE, like ICE, the organization or a company. It makes I don't know, but it just says ICE facility. But apparently, 3 people were shot. It doesn't say how many people have passed on, but again, you know, it just sucks, man. But our thoughts and prayers on our network and the show go out to the families of those victims. It's just crazy. It's crazy, guys. The world we're living in days is just crazy to me, man.
Yeah, most definitely.
But what's on tap today?
Okay, guys, let's jump right into it. Let's get into some baseball, do some scores real quick and some updates on the playoff situation. The Athletics won last night over Houston 5-1. Arizona over the Dodgers 5-4. Mets, big comeback, down 6-1, come back and beat the Cubs 9-7. Red Sox over Toronto 4-1. Cleveland over Detroit 5-2. Pittsburgh over the Reds 4-2. Right now in the National League, see here we have Milwaukee, Philadelphia, and the Dodgers are pretty much embedded in their playoff spot. But in the wild card, you got Cubs, San Diego, and the Mets are back into the playoffs right now. They're up a game on Arizona and Cincinnati in the wild card. In the American League, we have Toronto up 1 game on the Yankees. Yankees right in there, and then you've got Cleveland and Detroit tied, and you've got Seattle up 4 games on Houston. Let's see here, and we also have the Dodgers are up a game on San Diego in the National League. American League wild card, we have Toronto, Seattle, and Cleveland. And no, that's the American League division leaders right now. And then the wild card is the Yankees, Boston, and Detroit, and Houston is a game back as of being in the wild card right now. So, Chris, your thoughts on the Reds, and then we'll get Jay's thoughts on Houston, and then on any other teams.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't play great last night. I don't know how much that game you watched, but basically the second inning killed us. We gave up 4 runs in the second inning. They never scored another run after that. We scored 2 runs in the bottom of the second to make it 4-2. But we hit in like 7 double plays last night. It felt like it was we just hitting too many double plays, couldn't advance no runners last night. And we had that one inning in the second inning where we wasn't able to keep it to a 2-run inning. Gave up the other big hit, and they got 4 out of it, and that ended up being the difference of the game. Reds just he bounced back, win tonight. Bounced back, win tonight. Looked like the Mets was going to lose last night. They were able to make a big comeback there. Ended up winning, I think, 9-7 after being down 5-1.
Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully the Reds can bounce back tonight, and Cubs can bounce back tonight and get a win. I mean, I know in the standings it says they're a game ahead of us, but really they're more like a half game ahead of us and a game ahead of Arizona because of with us having the tiebreaker.
Okay.
You know, you see what I'm saying? Because if we both win, like we win tonight and they lose, we'll be tied. But
we have the tiebreaker.
But we're technically in the playoffs because we have the tiebreakers. So to me, it's more like they're a half game ahead of us than a whole game.
Now, Chris, I got a question for you real quick.
We got hitting double plays.
Got a question for you real quick. Now we're up on Arizona for the tiebreaker too, correct?
Yes.
Because I seen somebody listed Arizona in one of the standings above us. And I didn't understand that because we should have been above them, I thought, because of the tiebreaker.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, any other thoughts on any of the other races?
I mean, but both of them are getting close and look like they're gonna come down right till probably this weekend. So it's gonna be an interesting next 5 days of baseball.
Yeah, the wild card and also the division. I mean, Toronto's only a game up on the Yankees. I mean, Toronto's going to make the playoffs. Yankees going to make the playoffs, but who's going to win the division? Cleveland coming on strong right now. Detroit's free falling. So yeah, it's pretty interesting. Jay, your take.
Man, yeah, it's crazy. I think we're looking at a situation, at least on the American League side, that, by this weekend over with, it could be the Yankees and Seattle getting the bye and, everybody else fighting for their lives in the wild card round and such. So it's crazy, man. It's crazy. Like I was telling you earlier in pre-show, you want your team to heat up at the right time, and you'd want to avoid cooling down at the wrong time. And that's the way it seems like. It seems like the Astros have cooled down. Matter of fact, we're frozen. I don't know if we're going to thaw out. And then you got, Detroit cooling down right now. And Toronto is cooling down. And the Yankees are heating up. Guardians are heating up. So that's kind of where it's looking like right now. And the last thing I will tell you right now, I was telling you earlier, if I'm Seattle, the last thing I want to do right now is get a damn bye when I'm heating up, and then going a week long, and then do I come back hot? Do I come back cold? There's just too much risk in that having the bye. But hey, it is, and then you can look at the other flip side of that coin. Well, if I get the bye, then I get the rest, and I get the rest side of it. I get that, but again, it goes back to momentum. I believe baseball is about a game of momentum, and whoever's riding the momentum seems to be mostly who comes out ahead of this. And Seattle just lost Wu. I don't know when they're going to get Wu back. Right now, he's got an inflammation in his pectoral. That could be he's listed as day-to-day. Who knows when they're going to get him back? So maybe if Seattle does get the bye, it might behoove them from a rest standpoint to have, because Wu is probably their best pitcher. So you want to keep your best pitcher healthy. So I guess if you're from Seattle, maybe you do want the bye, because it gives you another week to get your ace rested and ready to go for the playoffs. So there's a couple of different sides to that argument. When it comes to Astros, man, tonight's the night. I'm just saying it right now, and I really believe this. I think anybody who watches baseball would agree with me on this. Tonight's the night. If the Astros don't win tonight, it's done. It's just done. It's done. If we don't win tonight, I really believe it's done. Because right now we're one game back from Detroit. I got to imagine that Detroit at some point is going to come out of this slump. I got to figure that at some point they're going to get a win. And if we don't start getting the wins now and if Detroit was to lose, we need to take advantage of this. This is our time. We got the A's coming up, or we got the Angels coming up after the A's. This is the time when we should be heating up. The competition is easy enough that we should be heating up. And the fact that we're not heating up tells me either A, there's something going on with this Astros team, more so because they got the talent. This team has talent. And now they have enough guys back that we should be able to, I don't know how deep we go in the playoffs, but at the very least, we should be beating the A's. We should be beating the Angels. And the fact that we're struggling or the fact that there's a question mark going into these games, that's not good for the Astros. And that's why I'm like, I really feel like tonight's the night. But at the end of the day, I really feel like this is just not the Astros here. I don't think that we are going to go deep. And that's why I'm just it is what it is. That's all you can say is what it is. We'll look to next season. Honestly, as an Astros fan, and it hurts me, it pains me to say that. It really does. Because I'm a very competitive guy. And the fact that I can't come from a competitive standpoint, it sucks. It sucks to be an Astros fan right now because we're used to being better than this. I would say this though, on the opposite side, last night Ohtani was pitching a really good game, and unfortunately, it just didn't go Dodgers' way. But the Dodgers are going to be there, Padres are going to be there. Come playoff time, these teams are going to heat up. Brewers are going to be there. You guys, you're kind of like I am right now. You're in a situation where you should be in the wild card, but you're just not taking advantage of the opportunities to get into the wild card or firmly solidify yourself in the wild card. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I
Well,
see
we won 5. We won 5 in a row before we
We won
lost
5
yesterday. So we're playing pretty good baseball. We
No,
just
I'm not saying that. I'm saying like there have been times though before that 5-game stretch where like you guys were, you were right there. You know that. I mean, you've been 1 game out when the Mets were reeling for a hot minute. You just weren't taking advantage of it. Now you are now. Don't get me wrong. You are playing good now. You know, you didn't continue that way.
Well, we had a big opportunity, and the Athletics put it on us. They swept us. I mean, and you may be going through that now. I mean, the Athletics have played this year the stronger teams well. The Athletics have. The teams that are with winning records, the Athletics have played well. It's been their other schedule that they've not played well. And another thing is that I think, like it or not, everybody's human. You get into a tight situation. Right now, the Athletics ain't in a tight situation. They're just out there playing. They're not thinking about the playoffs. They're not thinking about nothing. We're just going out there and we're going to play sport and we're going to have some fun. And that's the same thing with a lot of these other teams. So
I got a couple things real quick. First thing, we got a real big pitching matchup tonight with Paul Skeens versus Hunter Green in the Reds Pirates. You got two of the more dominant pitchers on the National League side going at it tonight. And then Jay, I just want to make sure. So you were saying that you would rather not have the bye than have the bye?
I'm saying if I'm a team that's riding momentum, like for example, take the Yankees for example. Right now they're hot as all hell, and I feel like when you go on a week bye, it does give you the rest, but it also halts that momentum or suspends the momentum until you can pick it back up. And it's goes like the All-Star break. Some people go in hot in the All-Star break and they come out cold afterwards.
See, I get what you're saying, but I would take the bye every time if I could get the bye. And my reasoning is that it's one less series I have to win to get to the World Series. And also I get to make sure my pitching staff is set up going into that divisional round. Because if I play the wild card round, then I have to worry about winning them games. Yeah, I might still stay hot, but then for the divisional round, now I don't have my top pitchers pitching at the beginning of that series because I had to use them in the wild card to get through. So I understand what your point. Yeah, sometimes it can mess with your rhythm a little bit, but to me, the advantage of not having to win that extra series and knowing that you can set your staff up. To me, if I can have the bye, I would always want it.
especially
I hear what you're saying. And last year was 2023. Astros had the bye, Rangers had the wild card, and we had that week off, and it showed. When we came out of that, we didn't get our asses handed to us because we did win on the road. As a matter of fact, that was a year if we would have been in the wild card spot during that season, we probably would have went to the World Series because if you look at the way we were playing, Texas was winning away, Houston was winning away. Nobody was winning at home. And I felt like that was the season that if we would have been in the wild card and we would have had that one more series or a couple more games away, I think we would have taken the Rangers in that. But we were not, neither one of us were playing good at home. I don't know. I understand where you're coming from, Gonzo. I just believe that when you got momentum on your side, I hate to lose the momentum and try to crank it back up and find it again. But I also stand right. If you look at the situation that Seattle's in, where you got or even any team that's battling maybe some nagging day-to-day type injuries, you probably do want that week. You would want that week because then it does give you the time to heal up and then come back at it. So I guess what I'm saying is I'm trying to say it almost seems like situational as to whether or not you want the bye or not have the bye, in my opinion. I don't know. Either way, we might not have to worry about that if we don't win tonight. We might have a permanent bye until next spring training.
That's possible. Well, guys, let's move on from baseball and do a little NFL. I got a thing here. Let's give our top. What you think are the top 5 teams in the NFL right now? I'll go first. My number 1 right now is Buffalo for me. My number 2 is Detroit. My number 3 is Philadelphia. My number 4 is the Chargers. And my number 5 is a tie because they play each other this week, and we'll see who's better at this present time, and that's the Colts and the Rams. They're my number 5s. Chris, if you had to give a top 5 right now, who do you think the top 5 in the NFL is right now?
I'd go. Let's see. I'd have Buffalo and the Chargers right up there. Probably Detroit. Got to put the Eagles up there, even though their offense is struggling a little bit right now, but they're still winning games, and they kind of done the same thing last year. And then I would go with the Rams, and then I'd probably have the Colts right behind the Rams, but I'd put the Rams ahead of them just because the Rams were a play away from being an NFC Championship game last year, so we kind of know what they were last year.
That's true.
Now, I think the Colts have a heck of a chance to beating the Rams this weekend. I think it's going to be a real good game. But since they haven't played each other, it's hard for me to say that Colts are ahead of them.
Yeah.
Yet. So, but yeah, so I would have the Bills, Chargers, Lions, Eagles, and Rams.
Okay. Jay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not too far off in that top 5 from you guys. I was just looking at one stat here real quick. Yeah. I guess I think I'm gonna agree with you guys. Buffalo is definitely, in my opinion, at 1. I think Chargers are at number 2 for me. 3 would be Philadelphia. I'm gonna put 4 at Detroit. And I'm gonna go 5 with Tampa. I like the way Tampa's playing right now. I like the way Baker's playing right now. I like the tenacity and the momentum that's building up in that team.
Yeah, Tampa Bay is a team that gets forgot about a lot. So yeah, because they are playing pretty well. They did get an injury with the receiver Evans, but they've got Godwin coming back. So I guess that's good. I'm sure they like to have both of them on the field at the same time. So.
Yeah.
Next up, guys, top players from week 3. I've got some, and I'll give them. And then if you have anybody or if you want to comment on any of these. Quarterback, Caleb Williams, 298 yards and 4 TDs. Running back, Jonathan Taylor, 17 rushes for 102 yards and 3 TDs. Philadelphia, A.J. Brown, 6 receptions for 109 yards and a TD. Detroit, Montgomery, 151 yards rushing and 2 TDs. Next up on defense, Minnesota, Isaiah Rodgers, 2 defensive touchdowns in that game. Also on offense, Minnesota, Jordan Mason, 116 yards rushing and 2 TDs. And also New England tight end, Hunter Henry, 8 catches, 90 yards, and 2 touchdowns. So them were some of the standout players from week 3.
Yeah.
Was there anybody that stood out to you out of this list, or anybody else that maybe that you have that you wanted to mention? Chris, let's go to you.
And you mentioned most of them. I was going to mention Jonathan Taylor had another heck of a game. Of course, Jahmyr Gibbs and Montgomery for the Lions. I know Gibbs, I think, ended up with 1 touchdown. Montgomery had the 2. Amon-Ra St. Brown had a heck of a game for the Lions as well. Isaiah Rodgers, you got to make sure you mention him. He done something that you don't ever hardly see, forcing 2 turnovers and taking one of them back to the house. So you got to mention that. That's off the top of my head. That's special teams. You got to give a big shout out to special teams this week. Look at all the block kicks, block field goals, and stuff we had this weekend. So special teams really stood out over the weekend.
Yeah, I agree. Jay.
Yeah, I was just pulling up one because I wanted to see what you hit most of them, Tony. I mean, you didn't leave too much off there, and I think Gonzo picked up the rest. What I was going to say was we have 5 block kicks. I think 1 or 2 of them got returned for touchdown. You had that boy out of the Eagles, Davis, that the fat guy that gets the touchdown, picked up the ball with Jalen Carter actually getting the block on it. I mean, that was incredible. I wanted to go back and look at Scatterbo. I think is starting to really find his groove out there in New York. Now that Tracy's been kind of hurt and they've been kind of giving more to Scatterbo, I wanted to kind of throw him out there because I think a lot of people, I think he's kind of going under the radar. He had he only had 10 carries. Again, this is when Tracy was playing, so he picked up the pace off of that. But he got 60 yards, 6 yards on average per carry. And a touchdown, and then he had 61 yards receiving. I mean, the guy is a great pass catcher. He's a great runner. He's got a lot of energy, and so I wanted to kind of point out Scatterbo. I'm really curious to see what he does going forward with the full workload at number 1 now that Tracy is on the injured list.
Do you guys think that can he be an every down back? And could he rush the ball 25 times a game in the NFL? Do you think that his body can handle it? I'm not saying he can't. I'm just asking you guys. What do you think?
Yeah. Something wrong with our Facebook page? I wasn't tracking that. Okay, yeah, Joel, I'll have to look into that. But as long as you got us on YouTube, then I guess we're still crack-a-lacking. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's hard. I think he would. I think he's okay. I don't know if 25 times. I think 20 to 22 carries, 22, somewhere in that neighborhood might be more. Because, I got to imagine some of those plays, again, he's going to get out of the backfield too, right?
Yeah.
So maybe I don't know who's behind them after that, who their third option would be. I don't have their depth chart in front of me to know who else is going to relieve him off that duties.
Is it Singletary?
That name's ringing a bell.
Yeah, I think Singletary.
Yeah, you're right, Devin Singletary. Absolutely. That's right. He had 4 carries, 11 yards. I don't know how effective he's going to be. I think you're going to see Scatterbo probably get 20 to 22 carries, and I think he'll also have quite a bit of receptions. If I had to say a snap count, I bet you Scatterbo's at least out there 80% of the snap count.
Chris, you got any thoughts on Scatterbo?
No, I mean, what we got to see him, he's looked pretty good, but it'll be interesting to see what he's able to do with. Now he's going to get more of an opportunity.
Yeah.
One thing I want to point out. One thing I think is interesting about this duo, because now Jackson Dart is going to be getting his debut as well. So it's like these two guys are fresh out of college, and they're going to both get their debuts out of the same draft class. So one thing I like about it is I feel like Scatterbo's that kind of guy who plays with a lot of passion. I mean, a lot of passion. Like, this dude is nothing but passionate about football, and he's a very high energy guy. And I think what New York Giants need is a high energy type of guy out there to keep them motivated to play in the game. And then Jackson Dart, obviously Russell Wilson got benched. Now Jackson Dart's going to get his start. Let me ask you guys a question about this Giants team. Do you think Dable's still in the heat of the hot seat, so he's willing to go with Jackson Dart just to say hell with it? Hey, look, if this is my hot seat year, then I'm going to ride Jackson Dart and see what I can do with him?
He's got nothing to lose. I mean, I was just getting ready to ask you guys, how do you think Dart's going to do? Do you think he's going to be a big upgrade from what they had? I mean, he's got a tough first game. That's going to be the thing. I just hope people don't. You know how the media is and how fans can be. I mean, first game he's going up against the Chargers. I mean, that's a tough first game to come to the league. Then after that, he's got New Orleans. So I just hope people are patient. I mean, I know what he did in preseason. Again, that was freaking preseason. This is the real deal. And I'm not saying he's not going to be successful. I think he will be successful. I don't know if he'll be right away. Hopefully they take these next 13, 14 games, whatever he plays. Hopefully he stays healthy and he improves. And next year he'll have a breakout year. I mean, I hope he has a good year this year. I just don't know. There's a big difference between preseason and regular season. So I think the kid's going to be good, but I just don't know. There's going to be growing pains, at least in my opinion. What do you guys think?
Let's go first.
I think he gives the Giants a better chance of winning now because of with the Giants' offensive line not being the best. He's a lot more mobile than what Russell Wilson is. I think that Brian Dable had made the decision in training camp that they were going to be going to Dart sometime this season and probably going to be sooner than later. I think this might be a little sooner than what he planned. But I think their plan going in to training camp, to start training camp, was that Wilson was going to be the starter. And when Dart got in there, I think Dart was outperforming Wilson, and they knew that he was going to be the guy. But they decided, since they had signed Wilson, to start with Wilson, let Dart learn a little bit. I do think it's going to give him a better chance. I think I kind of agree with you. I think this season could be up and down for him. We see rookies have kind of up and down. My worry is players go to New York to die. I mean, that's what players do. They go to New York, they die. Did they get out of New York, and then they revive their careers. Sam Darnold done it with the Jets. Went sucked in New York. Now he's been with He's been with Minnesota, played MVP level, and look what he's doing this year in Seattle. Still playing pretty good. Saquon Barkley, yeah, he was a good running back. He gets out of New York. Best damn running back we've ever seen last year. Daniel Jones. Giants didn't want him. He's out in New York with the Colts now, playing as good as any quarterback in the league right now. So to me, it just seems like players go to New York, whether it's the Giants or the Jets. They go there, and if for some reason they're just kind of doomed. So hopefully he can overcome that part of it. But no, I think it'll be up and down. But I do believe that Dart gives him a better chance to win this season than Wilson does because of Dart's mobility. He adds another threat to their offense that their offense don't have with Russell Wilson back there. In 2 out of 3 games, Russell Wilson ain't been able to hit a broadside of a barn with a football. Yeah. He had one game, the one game against Dallas that he looked decent. The other 2 games, he's looked flat terrible. So I think it's the right move to move on. It'll be interesting to see how it goes. We've seen a lot of players go to New York, and for some reason, it just seems like you go to New York and just kind of waste a few years of your career, and then you get out of there and your career takes off.
I just worry with that offensive line not being very good. I just hope the kid don't get hurt. I mean, that's that. That would be my only worry. Jay, what do you think?
Yeah, I think, when it comes to New York, the biggest issue they have is that offensive line. Just not given enough time. 7 quarterback hits, 2 sacks on Russell yesterday. Obviously, Russell threw 2 interceptions. I just think a lot of it's that offensive line. I really do. It's weird to me because I'm pretty sure we've already talked about this, but with the many first-round picks that the Giants have had and the many offensive linemen that they've drafted, I just don't know why they have not gotten this line playing better than what they're playing. And I'm curious to see how Dart will operate under center, given that offensive line. So that's kind of the only takeaway. I mean, they're 0-3.
Their offensive line hasn't been playing. It's not a great offensive line. But Russell Wilson was missing a lot of throws where he had time.
Oh, yeah. Russell's got his own issues. Trust me. I'm tracking what you're saying.
The offensive line would give him time, and he would miss, and he was missing wide open guys as well. So I think it's a combination of both of them.
Oh, for sure. And I think because I agree with you that it's a combination of both of them. I think when Jackson comes in, we should at least see a little bit of improvement. But I'm really curious. I'm going to be watching that game closely because I do want to see how well they protect for him, how much time they give him, how much scrambling he has to do, how many times the pocket collapses. I'm gonna be looking at that's one thing I want to look at a lot when I do watch that, because I am curious to see how that all plays out. But if you're at Dable at this point, you're like, man, we're 0-3. We're not going to be. And I got to imagine that the GM and ownership, they know that this Giants team still needs a lot of work. I just wonder how much latitude they're going to give Dable after this season. And I know a lot of it's going to be dependent on how well Jackson Dart probably plays and if they're able to resurrect, right? But yeah,
Yep.
I wouldn't want to be a New York fan right now. But then again, I'm a Cowboys fan. They probably said the same thing about me for 30 years and still ain't made the damn Super Bowl. So it probably goes both ways.
I mean, the Giants seem like they've got some pretty decent players on that team right now. I mean, they've got some receivers. Scatterbo looks good. I mean, they look good again. Played a pretty good game against the Cowboys. I mean, I know they ended up losing that game, but they didn't play terrible against Kansas City. I mean, I think they're doing some good things. But again, like Chris says, they usually New York is New York, and they find a way to screw it up. Guys, that's all I have. I know, Jay, you want to talk some WNBA, but I did want one thing real quick about the WNBA. The Fever did play last night against Vegas, game 2. Vegas put it on pretty good. I think beat them by like 22 points. So now Friday night, game 3 here in Indy. Be 2 games here. Best 3 of 5. Series tied 1-1. Go Fever. Let's try to get a couple of wins here in Indy and make it to the championship round. But just wanted to give that update. And Jay, I know you wanted to talk about the WNBA and some things that's going to be going on very soon with that.
Yeah, I did. Real quick, I don't have it in front of me, but does anybody know? I know there's 2 expansion teams coming into the WNBA next year during the CBA part. Do y'all know what teams got the WNBA teams in their cities? Like what cities were awarded the expansions?
No, off the top of my head, I don't.
I don't.
I'll have to look more into that. But I guess the point I wanted to make, or the one thing I wanted to bring up about that was just primarily, I feel like if you're an expansion team, this is the perfect time to come into the WNBA because 90% of the league is going to be a free agent. And there's going to be a whole landscape shift, I believe, next year in the WNBA, for the 90% that aren't signed. And this would be a great time. Like I said, if you're an expansion, this is a great time to come in because I feel like you can really put together a competitive roster and actually compete year one, if you had the money to get those free agents, So I think this is a big, big year for WNBA going forward after this collective bargaining agreement.
Yeah, I've never heard of such a thing. I think it's crazy. I've never heard of something like this before. Really shocked me that you would have that many free agents, and that the league will let it get to that point. I think that could be. I mean, it's good for the players, I guess, but it could be bad for the league. A league that loses money. So I don't know what to think of the situation.
Toronto, and Portland are going to be the expansion teams next year.
Portland's a weird pick. They've struggled to support teams. Toronto's a good pick, I think. Chris, what do you think? What do you think about this situation? I mean, I think it's a weird situation. And is it good for the league or is it bad for the league?
It is a little weird. I mean, it's happened because the players knew the new CBA was going to be coming. But the thing is, everybody is talking about how, it could change the league and all this. The players might have leverage, but how much leverage does the players have? Because, okay, now all you are free agents. But what if you don't sign no CBA?
Yeah. Well, then you're going to get a lockout.
What if you're running around in all these shirts saying, "Pay us what you owe us" and all this, and the league says, "Fuck this, there ain't going to be no WNBA." Where have you got yourself? So I mean, I I think, yeah, you'll see some players move. I think they're going to come with the CBA. I don't think the CBA is going to be as big. I think you'll see players going to get paid more than what they were. I do believe that. I don't think you're going to see the jump go as big as what the WNBA players think it's going to be. They're not going to be getting paid what the NBA players are like they think they are. Like you're going to see them make more money. But I think, yeah, you're going to do that. But I think a lot of these players are, the reason they're free agents was because of the CBA, not because they wanted to get away from their teams. So I think you'll see a lot of these free agents re-sign with the team that they're with, because they were just waiting because they knew the CBA was going to change and they'd be able to get more money if they wait. So I don't think we're going to see as many people move as maybe as you think, just because a lot of them aren't free agents because they weren't happy where they're at. It was just all about being able to get the better contract when the new CBA came out. So I don't think there'll be as much movement as we think. It might help the expansion teams a little bit, but I also do know when they bring the expansion teams in, they already get kind of an advantage on helping to be able to pick up players, because they try to make sure that they are kind of competitive. So it's going to be interesting to see what all comes of it. But I kind of think that we probably aren't going to see as many players move as maybe you think would move, just because I think a lot of them are a lot like the New York Liberty. A lot of them players are going to want to stay together and play together because they got it. Indiana Fever, for example, like you're battling to try to get into the WNBA finals, and you're missing two of your biggest players. So I think a lot of them players are going to want to stay a part of that. So I don't think we'll get as much movement as you might think, but yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where the CBA lands and how big of a raise they get. I think they get a raise, but I don't think it's going to be as substantial as some people are thinking.
Yeah, I hear where you're coming from on that, Chris. I do. I think a lot of these players, when they were doing their contracts, they knew there was a CBA coming up. And I think a lot of these contracts, at least at 90% of it, those contracts were geared towards ending when the new CBA was going to go into effect. Like you said, Chris, so they could get more money on these new contracts. So I think a lot of these agents knew and were telling their clients, hey, CBA is coming up this year. Let's prorate or let's do our contract links to end at this year, so that way you're eligible for the new CBA, which is going to, like you said, Chris, going to give you more money. And I think because it's coincidence that 90% of the league is free agents. I mean, that's not a coincidence. I think that is just tactical planning on the agents to do that, like you said, Chris, because of the CBA, and they want to get those bigger contracts. What I do think is, I think the loyalty is going to be there, but I also think money talks and bullshit walks. And I think that these players want to be paid like their shirts say. And I think that the teams that offer the contracts, right, whoever gives the bigger contracts is where they're going to go. Contract, term length, things like that. Whoever gives a better contract is where I think they're going to go. I don't think the loyalty is going to be there as much as the money that they've been striving to get for so long. And I think that money is going to trump their loyalty if those teams give the bigger paydays.
I get what you're saying, Jay, but if it's the CBA, all the teams are going to be able to pay that kind of money, so,
right? So, but I mean, they can, but will they? You know, I just wonder if they will all pay up to whatever the threshold limit is.
If they want to compete, they're going to have to.
Yeah, well, I mean, I agree with you. I just feel like some of these expansion teams coming in may want to make a statement and pay and give up what maybe some of the other teams can't because of cap or whatever the case is. I don't know. That's just my thoughts on it. I might be 100% wrong. I just know you got 90% of the people out there that aren't signed, and I'd be curious to see what happens. I do think there's going to be some movement, but it may not be as much as what you were thinking. I also want to say real quick that in 26, 28, and 29, we get 3 more teams. I think Detroit, Philadelphia, and Cleveland are going to be added. So by 2030, we'll be at 18 teams. That's crazy. That's crazy how fast that league is growing.
Well, it stayed pretty stagnant there for a while. I mean,
it did.
So now that they're getting more fans, hopefully they don't screw it up. Hopefully they can get everything worked out. I worry that there could end up being a lockout because I think these players, some players, and I'm not going to say all players because I don't know, I haven't heard a lot of stories, but could be a little delusional on what they think they're going to get paid.
I think realistically, since they just signed that big, was it $2.2 billion TV endorsement or whatever they did, I think it's going to give them some room to give more money. I don't think it's going to be as much as they think, like Chris was saying. I don't think it's going to be as much as what they're thinking. I could see 6 figures. I don't think it'll be more than 6 figures, you know.
Yeah, I think some of these players think they're going to be making millions of dollars, and I don't think that's the case.
Yeah, I think it's more than 6-figure range, in my opinion.
Well, guys, I got to get out of here. I'll let you guys close things out, and I will see you guys tomorrow.
All right, stop by Chris's house and give him a middle finger for me, will you? All right. But yeah, Chris, I mean, it's interesting. Yeah, it blows my mind because I really felt like Houston would have jumped back into the mix and put their names in there to get the franchise back. And the fact that they have it, and we're going to go all the way to 2030, and Houston is not even a mention in there, especially with the big TV contract that they just signed. I thought that would have been enticing for an ownership group to come in and put a WNBA team in Houston, but it doesn't look like we're anywhere anytime soon getting a team, which is crazy to me. You know, I mean, it's not like Houston isn't a big enough market. I mean, we're one of the biggest markets out there, and yet we don't have a WNBA team. That just blows my mind.
Oh no, yeah. I think some of it is. I think some of it might scare some cities away right now with all the stuff they have going on with the collective bargaining and everything. I think you might see some more cities are kind of waiting to see what's going to happen. Are they which way are they going to go? Are they going to fuck it up, or are they going to be able to kind of run with the momentum that they've gotten here recently? So, but yeah, I mean, like we've had a WNBA team here in Indiana forever. So, I mean, it's just we were real good we were one of the best teams in the WNBA for a long time. Then we struggled for a while, and then now looks like we're on our way back a little bit. I mean, right now we're in the semifinals against the Aces, so and that's been a long time since we've been that far. So,
yeah, I mean it just blows my mind. I mean, we won we won the first 4 championships here, and yet they don't think that's enough to quantify to have a team. And I'm speaking just to people here in Houston that don't want to put the money to talk to the WNBA about getting a team. I would have thought for sure that the Rockets' new owner, because I think when they sold the comment, or when they got rid of the comments, that was under, I believe, Leslie Alexander, the old Rockets owner, and I'm surprised the new Rockets owner hasn't thought about bringing or talking to the NBA about bringing a team back here, you know. But it's neither here nor there, man. It just sucks. I still wish we had our WNBA team. I miss not being able to compete at that level with you guys. That's really all I had today, Chris, unless you have more that you want to talk on.
No, that's pretty much all I had. We appreciate everybody watching. Please hit that subscribe button on YouTube at ESEN and at Gonzo Sports Room. And we will see you guys tomorrow right around 2 o'clock.